Hey guys, come shopping with me at the Goodwill outlet. This is a part of a greater series that I've kind of sort of started on my channel where I go to the Goodwill outlet and or to a different thrift store and kind of see what options they have available. So be sure to check that out. It's live on my channel right now, all of the previous videos. And while you're doing that, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I post a lot of videos going to different stores and exploring what offerings they have, as well as trying new foods. So if you're into any of that, definitely be sure to subscribe and like this video for more content. Comment down below, do you like thrifting? And if you do, have you ever visited a Goodwill outlet before? I have been to a Goodwill outlet ever since I turned 15 or 16 or so. That was when I discovered that my town that I used to live in had a Goodwill outlet, and ever since then I've absolutely adored it. I think that they're so much better than typical thrift stores because of the sheer amount of stuff that they have at the bins. You can find so many things just inside of these bins, and every single outlet that I've ever been to is a huge store. So they literally just have everything that you can find at a normal Goodwill or any other thrift store, on top of other items that you might not be able to find at every thrift store. They have electronic items, miscellaneous household goods, clothing items. They literally have every single thing that might pass through a Goodwill and doesn't get sold at the Goodwill. The reason they do this is because a Goodwill outlet is basically the last stop that every donated item at Goodwill takes before it gets shipped off to an Asian country, most of the times China or Vietnam, for reprocessing so that it can become a new item and get resold later in the US. I absolutely I love going through and finding new deals at the Goodwill outlet. I think that I found currently about 25 or 30% of my wardrobe at the Goodwill outlet. I am trying to bump that number up though, because I think that the Goodwill outlet is just such a great way to save the environment, since you're buying things that might have otherwise gone to waste, and also a great way to get a little bit more bang out of your buck, because everything is sold on that per pound basis instead of being sold per item. So in the end, you actually save a lot more money than you would have otherwise if you'd gone to a typical Goodwill or thrift store, and definitely a lot more money than you would have if you'd gone to a typical big box store or department store to buy your clothing items or home decor items. As you can see from my video, they literally have so much stuff, and I think that most of this is really good stuff too. Like the baskets, the frog, everything that I've been seeing has been really cool. Sometimes they have actually pretty useful items too, like medical supplies and stuff. Of course, be cautious when you're looking through the bins, and wear gloves if you're just wanting another layer of protection. There might be some sharp things available inside of the bin, so don't dive in without doing a little bit of preliminary checking. Make sure that you're remaining safe and sound before you dive in. I have not personally encountered anything that's that dangerous. I think I did once find a kitchen knife or something in the bins, but other than that, I have not personally seen anything like that. But I do know that other content creators on TikTok and YouTube have found more like broken glass and other things that might hurt you. So just be cautious and keep an eye out before you dive into a bin. The way that one of these stores works is that everything gets put into one of these bins, and you kind of just look through the bins and see what offerings they have. Like you can see in this video, there are dedicated bins for clothing items, and then there are dedicated bins for everything else. That's typically going to be your household goods. I've seen different Goodwill Goodwill outlets handle their electronic items differently. Some of them put them in a dedicated bin, but most of them I found have put them in a side area where you can just buy the electronic items outright. Those will typically cost you a per item amount instead of a per pound thing, but because this is the last stop before it gets shipped off, it is typically going to be a lot cheaper than it otherwise would have been. The best thing about the bins is that the clothing items that you find here can actually be a lot cheaper than a new clothing item, and I've personally found a lot of the clothing items to be very, very gently worn if it's been worn at all. I'd say that a good 50% of the clothing items that they have at Goodwill outlets are actually just donated from different stores that didn't get through all of their merchandise for a given time period, so you can actually find a bunch of new items for pretty cheap. I also love when they're taking away the bins, like you can see here. It just feels like a parade to me for some reason, with everybody kind of going into the back room with their big bins, and then afterwards we'll see the people coming back out with new bins, and that's kind of how it works. They shuffle the bins every hour or so, maybe 30 minutes at a busier store, and that after that you can't access anything in that bin anymore, so be sure to check out the bins very quickly and make sure to grab whatever you would want out of that bin. They do this for basically a clothing specific row and then a miscellaneous household item row, and then they just basically swap it out and get new, fresher items out onto the floor for people to be able to pick through and buy. It is a rush when a new row gets added or shifted out. There are a lot of people and it's kind of a frenzy, so I always personally avoid it. I just feel that it's not my kind of scene, so I just wait off on the side while they're getting new items out, and after everybody's kind of done picking through, I go in and I see what's left. Most of the time, people don't actually get a bunch of things from the bins right off the bat. You do have to do a lot of digging at a Goodwill outlet in order to find the gems, but I assure you it is absolutely worth it. The stores I've seen are typically kind of busy, especially on the weekends. I figure that's probably when everybody has the chance to actually go. Like you can see here, we're all just waiting for the new rows of the bins to be out and populated. That I never want to get into that frenzy. I just get so anxious seeing how many people there are. So I let them all look through and do whatever digging they want, and then I'll look through afterwards. The workers here are always so nice too. I love going to the Goodwill outlet. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this far, comment down below that you've watched this far. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!